Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Chris Euban, your instructor for Astronomy 101, and I'd like to give you a few little tips on our last lab, which is on the investigating the moons of the giant planets. Now, we've so far worked through a few of the questions on this lab, and what I'd like to do now is give you a little tip on how you might be able to do something more with it than just looking at the photos that are included in the lab write-up. I have up here, as you can see, a program called Cosmographia. As a matter of fact, I'll shut it off and I'll start it again. So here's my screen. Cosmographia is a program from NASA. It is totally free, so you don't have to pay anything for it. And it's kind of neat in the sense that it gives you an overview of the solar system, and you can go ahead and bring up, so I'm bringing it up now so that it is on surface. So here's Cosmographia as of today, and again, you can download this from NASA, search for Cosmographia, and it's very readily available. So now let's go ahead and take a look at Saturn, because we're exploring the moons of the giant planets. So let's go ahead and take a look at Saturn. And one of the exercises that you have to do is looking at the 4 satellites of Saturn, Rhea, Dione, Enceladus, and Minimus. You have to look and talk about craters and faults and things of this nature. The pictures in the lab write-up are frankly inadequate, in my opinion. And I know that's a bit much, but okay. So what I'm going to do is use Cosmographia instead of the website. If you don't have the web right now, you can use Cosmographia because it basically tunes to your system time. And then you can get these high-resolution images in Cosmographia itself. So I'm looking at Enceladus, Minimus. Let me see if I can find Rhea. And I'm just wandering around the Saturnian system. Phoebe, Uranus, Aldebaran, blah, blah, blah. Eris is way out there somewhere. Now, any information that it has is going to be downloaded. So I'll click on Titan, for example. And double-clicking on Titan will actually take you there. So here comes Titan. And you can see it has the glow of the atmosphere with it, which is kind of neat. And now you can actually wander around the globe and take a look at it. Now, it has the different sites that were explored by Huygens and Cassini during the time that it landed. I can even zoom in a little bit more, and I don't know if I can penetrate the clouds. I don't think so. No, it's not looking very good. So I'm going to zoom back out again so that we get a global feature. And so here is Titan. We're looking from the viewpoint of Saturn. We can see Saturn in the distance. And I can wander around this globe. Now, there's not much to see with Titan because of the clouds on it. So let's pick another moon. I am going to find, and I can click the magnifying glass to find whoever I want. I'm going to find Rhea. Select, and I'll point at so we can see it in comparison. So there's Dione, Enceladus, Rhea, and Minimus. Those are the 4 moons that we're actually supposed to look at. So let's go ahead and go to Rhea, and I'll just double click on it. And Cosmographia will take me right there. So now I can wander around Rhea and take a look at its surface, and I see clusters of craters all over the place. Be aware that just like with the 3D models that you saw on Solar System Explorer, .nasa.gov, that there are strips that are more recent pictures and others that are less recent. So we're getting a combination of those. And I would say that, for the most part, it's been explored here again as another area where the spacecraft did not get good images of. So you might have a little bit of trouble with that. And I can actually hide this now. And I can actually get a description. Not much, but, still, it's a little something. So here is Rhea, and I can now go to Enceladus. But again, remember, the whole idea of this is not for you to read the description. You can do that later, but what is important is that you take a look and you give me your impressions just by looking at the surface. So here we see the surface, and we can zoom in and zoom out, and we can wander around the surface, and it'll give us good pictures for the most part. Not perfect, but reasonably good. And here is, of course, the Death Star ray, which Minimus is known as the Death Star. The Death Star moon. So we can go there. Now let's go ahead. No, I thought that was Minimus. Okay, so we can see that there's actually another Death Star crater very similar to the one on Minimus. And as a matter of fact, we can go to Minimus. I'll point at. There is Minimus floating around here somewhere. Let's go there. Go. And there we go. And there is indeed the Death Star crater. And there is Herschel. But it seems like Rhea has one too. That's kind of interesting. So here is the way that you can explore these moons without having access to the web. If you so desire, you can actually do this. And again, I can go to Enceladus. And it'll even, if I don't remember how to spell it, I can even get the rest of it. ENCELADUS. And I'll go there. And you can see that's one of the big questions that they have. Enceladus will go to. Is that Enceladus is inside the E ring of the Saturn's rings, so you can actually see the different ridges. And if I'm going here, I have mine set up so you can literally look at the latitude and longitude for the globe, and we know that, for example, the South Pole is minus 90 and the North Pole is 90, so I can go to the North Pole of Enceladus. And here we go. And you can see a bunch of tiger stripes. Okay. Okay, so the upshot is that I can wander around the globe of Enceladus, take a look at some features, because, as I said, the lab pictures were just not good enough. So I want you to be aware of this and that this is around for you. You can download it from Cosmographia. Just search Cosmographia, and it will show you where to pick this program up. It's a good program, works on Mac and PC, so you should find it fairly useful. And on that note, I will end, except to say that in some of the portions of the lab that you have to work on, most notably the business of looking at Triton, Saturn's moon Titan and Neptune's moon Triton. Saturn's moon Titan, it's very difficult to get a look at this globe without dealing with the clouds. I think that NASA Solar System Explorer will be easier to deal with. Triton, on the other hand, let's go ahead and find it. And I'm pointing at it now, and we'll go there. So you can see that not a lot of pictures have been taken of this very, very strange world. There are some shots of it that you can see now coming into view that are coming from the Voyager spacecraft when it visited Triton, and that there are some planetias, there's some planes, but there's not a lot of detail. This is going to make things a little rough, and you may have to go to Solar System Explorer. But on the other hand, there are some parts of it that you might find doable here. Okay, so this is Triton, and you're supposed to be doing some work with Triton over the course of the day. That is in 16.5 and 16.6, and if you want to take a look at the Voyager images, they're on your lab. If you want to get a color picture, you can actually go to solarsystem.nasa.gov and Solar System Explorer, and there are more pictures there. As a matter of fact, let's go for a second. So here's my window, and I'm just bringing Solar System. Let's see if this is better. There we go. So there it is. And let's go ahead and see if we can find the moons. And you can see that this is the exact same thing that you get with Cosmographia. As a matter of fact, I think that's where it comes from. Here's a comparison of size between Neptune and the Earth. And as you can see, it's about 24. It's about 4 times the size of the Earth in diameter. So we can go to that. Let me close this. And actually, you can wander around Neptune. As a matter of fact, that's kind of cool that you can actually do that. Let me get out of this and do what we have to do. Okay, so now let us click on Neptune. Let's read more. It would be kind of nice if they actually connected the two, but okay, whatever. So here's Neptune's moons. And so now I can go to Naiad. There's Proteus, and here is Triton, and Triton is probably one of the most impressive objects out there. And again, they have the 3D images that you can get to, so I'll go full screen on that. And this is the same image that you get from Cosmographia. And you'll notice these plains and the rocky ridges, and it looks to be very much repaved in comparison to some of the other moons, including, I might add, the moons of Neptune, Nereid, and Proteus. So anyway, this is a way that you can actually do the analysis either with Cosmographia or with the Solar System Explorer. It works either way. I would assume that getting it via Solar System Explorer would be good, because then you can read what NASA knows. But I would be more interested in seeing what your impressions are before you go reading what NASA has to say. Anyway, thanks for your attention, and we'll talk on Monday.